Hello everyone and welcome to Career Launcher. So in today's class, I hope you all are aware that every Sunday at 8 p.m. we are having the static GK discussion. So in today's class also, we will be having the same thing. So am I audible, visible? Is everything fine? If yes, then please write yes. Am I audible, visible? Okay. So in the last class, which happened on last Sunday, we were discussing till here. We were talking about moral and mentor reforms, the concept of elections. So basically, moral and mentor reforms happened in the year 1909, which brought the concept of separate electorates. So it introduced, if someone is asking that moral and mentor reforms introduced what? So it introduced separate electorates, and initially it was given for Muslims. Later on, the concept of separate electorates in 1919 was extended to Sikh, Christian, Anglo-Indian as well. That is what you should be knowing about. Okay. Yes. So I think everything is fine. My voice is clear. Yes. Okay. Fine. So let us move on to the next one. Who among the following was the Prime Minister of England when the cabinet mission was sent? Cabinet mission, we have discussed about this. Cripps mission we have discussed earlier. So Cripps mission जो भेजा गया था 1942 में भेजा गया था ना, March 1942. And when was cabinet mission sent? Can anyone tell me? When was cabinet mission sent? So yes, the right answer is option B, Clement Attlee. Yes, Shloka, you're right. So cabinet mission was sent in March 1946, and by that time, Clement Attlee was the Prime Minister of England. And if I'm asking who was the Prime Minister of England when India got independence on 15th August 1947, what should be the answer? Prime Minister of England. Who was the Prime Minister of England? India got independence, the Prime Minister of England was Clement Attlee. Okay. Winston Churchill was the Prime Minister when the Second World War was happening. जब World War II हो रहा था 1939 से 45. So the British Prime Minister was Winston Churchill. Okay. But the moment World War II ended, the election happened and Clement Attlee became the Prime Minister from Labour Party. Okay. And he sent cabinet mission, and he was the one when India was getting independence. He was the Prime Minister of England. ठीक है, ये पूछा था कई बार एग्जाम में. ठीक है, so you should be knowing B is the right answer to this question here. Okay, let's move on to the next one. और आप देख सकते हो Clement Attlee, अगर आप देखोगे, so 26 July 1945 से 25 October 1951. So 26 July 1945 means just the World War II was about to end. The election happened, and Winston Churchill lost the election. Although Winston Churchill was instrumental in getting England win World War II, but still when election happened, he lost the election. Okay, and we are having a new Prime Minister, Mr. Clement Attlee. उसको ऐसे लिखते हैं लंबा चौड़ा, but उनका नाम था Clement Attlee. Earl of Attlee भी लिखते हैं, Clement Attlee. Okay, so that is what you should be knowing. तो आप देख सकते हो 1945 से 1951 तक थे. So when India was getting independence, he was the Prime Minister of England. The next one. तो आप देख सकते हो कैबिनेट मिशन. So it was sent by British Prime Minister Clement Attlee, and there were members Patrick Lawrence, Stafford Cripps, and वही जो Cripps mission वाले A.V. Alexander was there. The next one is who among the following was nicknamed as Gagging Act? Licensing Act 1857, Registration Act 1867, Vernacular Press Act 1878, Newspaper Act 1908. What is the right answer to this question? Nicknamed as Gagging Act. Gagging का मतलब क्या होता है? What is the meaning of gagging? Gag order. आपने सुना होगा ये term, gag order. If you read newspaper, I'm sure you must have come across this term, gag order. Gag मतलब होता है मीडिया को मसल करना, मतलब मीडिया में नहीं छपना, या to suppress the media, है ना? to suppress the media. That's the idea. Okay. So the right answer is C, Vernacular Press Act 1870. ठीक है. So Vernacular Press Act में था क्या? Can anyone tell me? अच्छा ये बता दो वर्नाकुलर का मतलब क्या होता है? What is the meaning of vernacular? What is the meaning of this in Hindi or in any other language? I mean, like, you should explain me what is vernacular. प्रेस तो मतलब अखबार छपना, जो मतलब प्रेस से रिलेटेड, उस बारे में अखबार ही होता था या रेडियो भी नहीं होता था, है ना? सो वर्नाकुलर मतलब वो लोकल लैंग्वेज. हाँ, फ्रीडम ऑफ प्रेस स्पेशली फॉर लोकल लैंग्वेज. तो वो होता ही था at that time mostly. तो उस जमाने में तो व्हाट्सएप सोशल मीडिया तो होता नहीं था, टीवी न्यूज चैनल नथिंग वाज देयर. सो प्रेस मोस्टली मेंट न्यूज़पेपर और जर्नल, मींस न्यूज़पेपर हुआ या मैगजीन हुआ, ये हुआ ना, ये होता था प्रेस. ओके. नाउ अब इसमें होता ये था कि वर्नाकुलर तो लोकल, बिकॉज एट दैट टाइम वेरी फ्यू पीपल ड्यूरिंग द ब्रिटिश, वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट 1878, ये देखना, ठीक है. एट दैट टाइम वेरी फ्यू पीपल हैड इंग्लिश नॉलेज इन अमंग इंडियंस. So mostly people used to read local language newspaper. ठीक है. हाँ, उस जमाने में 1878 के बाद है तो आम जनता जो है वो लोकल लैंग्वेज पढ़ती होगी, जैसे नॉर्थ इंडिया में हिंदी पढ़ती होगी, साउथ इंडिया में जैसे कन्नड़ है, तमिल है, इस तरह की लैंग्वेज, मतलब अपने लोकल रीजनल लैंग्वेज दे यूज्ड टू रीड, है ना, बिकॉज ऑफ कोर्स वेरी फ्यू पीपल हैड इंग्लिश नॉलेज. सो बेसिकली व्हाट हैपेंड वाज कि सो people, the local language newspaper used to write heavily criticizing British, like British criticism was heavy. ठीक है. तो ब्रिटिश को पता चल गया, ऐसा नहीं है कि because they also knew like they had a lot of translators, so they get to know that the local language is creating an atmosphere where British is portrayed as bad. Okay. And they realize that if this will continue, then of course this will be harmful for them. So what they did was they brought a Vernacular Press Act where they specifically targeted the local language newspaper, not the English language, because they know that English language newspaper very few people reads. So mostly the language the people read this. So that is called as Vernacular Press Act. Gagging Act मतलब वही होता है, मुंह दबाना, है ना, not allowed to speak. Yes, because suppression of free speech, suppression of freedom of speech. That is called as gagging. ठीक है. Vernacular Press Act 1878. Later on it was repealed. I think in 1881 या 82 के आसपास it was repealed. As far as I could remember, 81 या 1882 में this was repealed by Lord Ripon when Lord Ripon came. So Lord Ripon was a good person. आपको पता है. This 1878 में law was brought by Lord Lytton, and Lord Lytton जो था ना, he was not very good, na, compared to this. But Lord Ripon was actually comparatively pro-Indian, comparatively viceroy. So that is why he did many things which was more like he was more compassionate towards Indians. So C is the right answer. Can you create a video how to create for Sloka? I think we already have video on our YouTube channel regarding how to prepare for the last 5 months. इस तरह करके आप go to the live section on our YouTube and scroll down, you will find a video. ठीक है. I am sure वो बना हुआ है. ठीक है. The next is, when did Chauri Chaura incident took place? And can you please tell me any link with that? Like, what was the link? The right answer is February 1922. बस इतना याद रखिए. Actually क्या हुआ था? There was a movement that started in 1920, and this movement stopped in 1922 because of this Chauri Chaura incident. Which movement I am talking about? Yes, Shloka and Dasila ji, you both are right. C is the right answer. Please tell me which movement I am talking about. I have made a separate video on it. On this topic. There was a movement started in 1920, ended in 1922. Which movement I'm talking about? I'm talking about non-cooperation movement, not civil disobedience. Civil disobedience happened in 1931 to 32, 1930 to 31 mostly. That's civil disobedience movement which started by Dandi March. Okay. Yes, Loka, you're right. Huh? So those who have not watched my video, so first of all, please subscribe to the channel. Go to the playlist. When you go to the playlist, on the top you will find a video having the thumbnail of Vijayanagar Empire in the playlist section, where it will be written modern Indian history. And go to that vertical, go to that playlist, and if you scroll down, you will find civil disobedience movement class and non-cooperation movement class also. Why I'm saying? Because we have seen civil disobedience movements, we have seen previous year question. We have seen question on Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Okay. So of course, now they can ask about non-cooperation movement as well. So non-cooperation movement was started in 1920 and it got abruptly ended, stopped when Chauri Chaura incident happened. So what was the incident? Can anyone tell me? So Chauri Chaura happened in February 1922. What was the incident? Where it happened? What was Chauri Chaura incident? Ah, 22 policemen killed. Yes, Sharma, right. So Chauri Chaura is actually a place in Gorakhpur, near Gorakhpur. Gorakhpur is a place in East Uttar Pradesh, touching Bihar border. Here you'll find Gorakhpur. Here you'll find Chauri Chaura, where actually the non-cooperation movement, since the protest was happening, so people started protesting to such an extent. I mean, there was some conflict with the police, and the policemen, the police chowki or the entire police station was burned, and 22 policemen died. And I hope you all are aware. So we had discussed that Gandhiji believed in the concept of non-violence. So when Gandhiji got to know that violence has happened, Gandhiji said, I believed in non-violence, and that is why I am immediately stopping non-cooperation movement. So he immediately stopped the movement, and that is why Chauri Chaura incident is famous for stopping non-cooperation movement. Okay. Yes, Harsh Sharma and Shloka, you both are right. Okay, let's move on to the next one. At which of the following session of Indian National Congress was the demand for complete independence was made by Azad Mohani? Banaras session, Lucknow session, Bombay session, Ahmedabad session. The right answer is option D, Ahmedabad session. Yes, Harsh Sharma, right. Maulana Azad Mohani, first Congress activist to demand complete independence, full Swaraj in 1921. Okay. That is what you should know. So D is the right answer. Okay. So he had raised this in Ahmedabad session of 1921. Okay, the next one is, who said the British Empire is rotten to the core, corrupt in every direction, and tyrannical and mean? Who said this? Yes, Harsh Sharma, you're right. B is the right answer. Sarojini Naidu said this. So B is the right answer to this question. Sorry, Naidu. Sorry, Sister Nivedita. D is the right answer. Okay, let me explain. Dekho, basically, there was Sister Nivedita. His original name was Margaret Elizabeth Noble. Okay, so basically, she was from Ireland, Irish, like an Ireland city. And she came to India and she was very much inspired by Swami Vivekananda. So in fact, she was the disciple of Swami Vivekananda. ठीक है. Disciple मतलब होता है student के sense में, या जैसे गुरु शिष्य होता है, शिष्य कहेंगे ना, गुरु शिष्य परंपरा होता है, तो शिष्य, yeah, it means. Okay, so that is what you should be knowing. So उन्होंने कहा था. So let's move on. So here is the right answer. Sister Nivedita, मैंने बता दिया है ना. So she was actually in Ireland, from an Ireland lady, Irish lady. She came to India, and she got inspired by the ideas of Swami Vivekananda. Okay, so she changed her name. Margaret Elizabeth Noble से she started calling herself as Sister Nivedita. Okay. and she's opened a lot of girls' school in North Calcutta, etc. The next is, which of the following pacts was instrumental in bringing together Congress and Muslim League together? Yes, this is very important. And in which year it happened? Pune Pact, Lucknow Pact, Lahore Pact, Bijapur Pact. What is the right answer? Very famous. Lucknow Pact 1916. B is the right answer. Yes, Akshat Verma, Sloka, you're right. And B is the right answer. Kafi famous hua tha, I'm sure you must be aware. And the president was A.C. Majumdar. What is the president of that? So B is the right answer. Okay. And Lucknow Pact, All India Muslim League, etc. Let's move on to the next one. इसके बारे में थोड़ा सा चाहो तो मतलब basically the idea was कि there was some sort of rapprochement between Congress and Muslim League. So that's what you should know. Let's move on further. Whom of the following was instrumental in the Chittagong Armory raid in 1930? So Chittagong is actually a place. Chittagong is actually a place. It's a port city actually. Today you will find it in Bangladesh. And Chittagong का एक और टर्म मिलेगा आपको, चाटोग्राम लिखा होगा कहीं पे मिला होगा, चाटोग्राम. So Chittagong and Chattogram are actually same thing. ठीक है. Chittagong में I think cricket matches also होता है ना. PDF. I mean how to share PDF. Sloka, what you can see is if you are interested in revising it, you can watch it in 2x speed again. And I think because sharing PDF would be difficult here. So the right answer here is B. Surya Sen is the right answer to this question. Okay. So actually he was very famous Indian revolutionary, and he was a teacher also famously known as Master Da. So that is what you should be knowing about. B is the right answer. So यहाँ पे मैं दिखाता हूँ. He brought Chittagong Armory raid against British. तो यहाँ पर ये बांग्लादेश है. Somewhere here यहीं पे कहीं पे आपको मिलेगा Chittagong. So of course at that time it was a part of India before independence. So 1930s में 1930 या 31 की बात है कब है 30 हाँ. So he brought armory raid means the arms रखा हुआ था British का है ना, somewhere in the school or somewhere there was a building where there was arms. So these Indians went there and snatched all those arms of British, because the reason was simple, straightforward, because British was not the government of British was not concerned about the lives of Indians or welfare of Indians. They were only concerned about their own earning. Okay, the next is, who among the following accompanied Bhagat Singh when he threw a bomb in Central Legislative Assembly? So where do you find Central Legislative Assembly? है ना, कहाँ मिलेगा ये? अच्छा, आप लोग सोच रहे हो Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru were hanged together, but the answer is option A, Bhakteshwar Dutt. Yes, Gyan, you're right. A is the right answer. Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru were hanged together in March, I think 23rd March somewhere. So they were hanged in March 1931. But ये जो Central Legislative Assembly में बॉम्ब रखा था, that was done by B.K. Dutt. हाँ, now it's called as Parliament. तो actually क्या होता है? There was something called as Imperial Legislative Council during the time of British. Okay. Imperial Legislative Council is today equivalent to Parliament of India. Okay. Imperial Legislative Council had two houses. One is called as Central Legislative Assembly, and another was called as Council of States करके होता था. ठीक है. ठीक है. So Parliament of India today has two houses, Lok Sabha and Raj Sabha. ठीक है. तो Central Legislative Assembly जो है यहाँ पे लिखा है Central Legislative Assembly. This was equivalent to Lok Sabha today. ठीक है. And Council of State is of course even today also Raj Sabha is called as Council of States, equivalent to Raj Sabha. Okay. So at that time, Imperial Legislative Council was similar to Parliament. It had two houses, Central Legislative Assembly and Council of States. यहाँ बॉम्ब रखा था Central Legislative Assembly, which is equivalent to today's Lok Sabha. So here bomb was a low intensity bomb was put by Bhagat Singh and Bhakteshwar Dutt. Okay, so it was low intensity. So why? Because the idea is not to harm anyone. The idea was not to harm anyone, but the idea was to raise the awareness, to raise the issue that listen to our demands. Okay, that was the idea, not to harm someone. That's why they put BK Dutt the full form Bhakteshwar Dutt. Okay, एक बार आप स्पेलिंग चेक कर लीजिएगा. That is the spelling. Okay, so ये बात होगी. This is actually the event that happened somewhere around 1929, putting the bomb in Central Legislative Assembly. So of course it will be in Delhi, of course. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Fasting was made a major struggle instrument for satyagraha in British India by Gandhi ji. He undertook fast and do it for which of the following causes? ये बताना. इस पर ही मैंने वीडियो बनाया है. Fast unto death Gandhi ji did for what event? Fast unto death means Gandhi ji said that if my demand is not met, I will die, but I will not eat something. Fast मतलब होता है खाना नहीं खाना है ना, भूखे रहना, रोजा रखना. Yes, Pune pact. Very good, Mahendra. We have made a detailed video on this. ठीक है, आप जाके सर्च करना है ना. Communal award, है ना, या McDonald award, both the same thing. So basically, right answer is B. Communal award is actually nothing but वही McDonald award. I have made a video, McDonald award and Pune pact, and given separate directives and Pune pact. After that, I mean, after Pune pact, he broke the fast, है ना. Okay, I have made a video. So how to find out? So just go and search on YouTube, है ना, McDonald award and Pune pact career launcher. ऐसे search करना, you'll get it. Or you can go to our YouTube channel, like which on the channel on which you are watching. Go to the live section. ठीक है, जिस चैनल पे आप देख रहे हैं वीडियो, go to the live section and scroll down. ठीक है, ग्रे कलर का थंबनेल मिलेगा यूट्यूब पे वीडियो, उस पर लिखा होगा मैकडॉनल्ड अवार्ड एंड पूना पैक्ट. ओके, हियर उस ये कम्युनल अवार्ड इज नथिंग बट मैकडॉनल्ड अवार्ड एंड पूना पैक्ट ऐसे लिखा होगा थंबनेल में नीचे में लाइट कलर में. ओके, watch that video, then you will get to know, because here I cannot explain what is McDonald award. I need at least 5-10 minutes, because I have complete half an hour video where I have discussed about Pune pact, McDonald award, Gandhi ji sat on fast and to death inside the jail, है ना. You'll find it. या वही या नहीं तो अगर आपको नहीं मिले तो प्लेलिस्ट में जाना. प्लेलिस्ट में जो मॉडर्न इंडियन हिस्ट्री का प्लेलिस्ट है, मॉडर्न इंडियन हिस्ट्री का, the top video of this playlist is Vijayanagar Empire. If you scroll down that playlist, you will find McDonald award and Pune pact. ठीक है, okay, है ना. तो आप पढ़ लेना ये. This is very important because of course they can ask questions. The next one is the primary objective of C. Rajagopalachari's 1944 was. इसको एक्चुअली राजा जी फॉर्मूला कहते हैं ना, राजा जी. C. Rajaji formula. C. Rajaji formula. So C. Rajagopalachari proposed something. Actually, he wanted, I mean, because just before that there were talks of partitioning of India and Pakistan and a separation, because at that time India was united, but there were some like demands. So Rajaji actually gave some solution to give a midway or something like that, है ना. So basically, the right answer is to resolve the political deadlock between Muslim League and Indian National Congress on the issue of independence of British India. Okay, because Muslim League was continuously demanding a separate country called Pakistan, and Indian National Congress was not interested. So basically, Rajaji or C. Rajagopalachari ji, he tried to give some middle path, है ना, the way out. कहा जाता है ना, the way out is the idea given by Rajaji. Means he wanted to give some middle path that okay, please do not come with a separate country, but try to find some middle path. So that is what you should know. Hi. Rajaji formula. Okay. The next is whom देखो यहाँ लिखा हुआ भी, हाँ देखो. So the Muslim League position was that Muslim and Hindu of British India were two separate nations and therefore cannot stay together. So that was to solve the political deadlock between All India Muslim League Congress. The next is whom the following was the president of Indian National Congress during independence. A.O. Hume, J.B. Kriplani, Dadabhai Naoroji, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad. President of Indian National Congress during independence. The right answer is हाँ कि JB कृपलानी. So the right answer is B is the right answer. देखो ये 1940 से 46 तक थे. कुछ लोग D बता रहे हैं. देखो मैं बताता हूँ. मौलाना अबुल कलाम आजाद. This person is different from APJ Abdul Kalam. Why I'm saying? Because I have seen people getting confused. APJ Abdul Kalam died in 2015. He was a recent personality. Maulana Abul Kalam Azad was the first education minister of India. So we are talking about 1940s. So of course there's a gap. So that's why, I mean, I have seen people, even there was a time when I also used to get confused. Maulana Abul Kalam Azad and APJ Abdul Kalam, these are two personalities. Okay? During independence, 1940 to 46, he was there, and JB Kripalani was during the independence, 47. So B is the right answer. Okay. So JB Kripalani was actually the president of Indian National Congress. So before independence, agar pucha jaye, who was the longest serving Congress president? What should be the answer? Longest serving Congress president before independence, pre-1947. Then the answer would be Maulana Abul Kalam Azad. He is different from APJ Abdul Kalam. Please do not get confused, because ab khud dekho, we are talking about 1940s, and APJ Abdul Kalam was, he died in 2015. So he was a prominent figure since 1990 to 2015 tak he was a prominent figure. We knew about it and him. So scientific community, they know before him also, but वो 1998 के बाद फेमस हुए थे APJ Abdul Kalam sir, especially after the second nuclear test, है ना? I hope you are aware, 1998 में we have done nuclear test, second nuclear test. What is the name of the operation? Please tell me. बताओ तो. Let me see how many of you can answer me. The second nuclear test, because something related with this, there's a previous year question in CLAT. What was the name of the second nuclear test in 1998, where Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam played an important role? The answer is Operation Shakti. Okay? That is called as Pokhran 2. And Pokhran 1 was there in 1974. Operation Shakti, very good, Harsh Sharma. Pokhran 1 was done in 1974, and this was asked in CLAT. This is called as Operation Smiling Buddha. Okay. So the second operation was 1998 में. Here APJ Abdul Kalam played an important role. APJ Abdul Kalam, he was a scientist, है ना? And mind you, he is different from Abul Kalam Azad. There's an almost gap of 50 years, or in fact more. Okay. So that is what you should know. APJ Abdul Kalam, after that, after the second nuclear test, he became famous, and when he was appointed as president of India, he was elected, I think, somewhere around 2002 or 3. Then after he became even further more famous. Okay. So that is what you should know. ये छोटी-छोटी चीजें, लेकिन बच्चे confuse कर जाते हैं, है ना, इनके नाम, because names are very similar, so people get confused. Rajasthan, Pokhran. Yes, Harsh Sharma. That's called as Pokhran. In Rajasthan, that's a place. The next is, in which year provisional government was founded by Azad Hind Fauj? When I'm saying Azad Hind Fauj, we are talking about Indian National Army. In Singapore. So the right answer is October 1943, as far as I could remember. Please, the right answer. 21st October 1943. Azad Hind was formed. That is what you should be knowing. Indian National Army कहते हैं. And who was the founder of Indian National Army or Azad Hind Fauj? Subhash Chandra Bose established provisional government in Singapore, है ना? Singapore में. But he was not the founder of Indian National Army. Here is India. This is Singapore. He was not the founder of Indian National Army. Not Subhash Chandra Bose. No. Founder मैं पूछ रहा हूँ. It is not Subhash Chandra Bose. He made it prominent, or he promoted that, but the Mohan Singh, Captain Mohan Singh, was actually the founder of Indian National Army. ठीक है. और इनका जो मोटो था आजाद हिंद फौज को क्या था? इत्तेहाद, इत्तेमाद और कुर्बानी. इत्तेहाद मतलब होता है यूनिटी, इत्तेमाद मतलब फेथ, कुर्बानी मींस सैक्रिफाइस. ओके. तो अभी तक तो ये मोटो नहीं पूछे हैं, बट जस्ट हैव एन आइडिया, है ना? ओके, लेट्स मूव ऑन. to the next one. The next one is the partition or Mountbatten plan, means the final plan. Lord Mountbatten was the Governor General or Viceroy. 3rd June plan is referred to as 3rd June plan. Why? What happened? The right answer is actually British Prime Minister announced partition plan in the House of Commons. Why House of Commons is like Lok Sabha ko? House of Commons is one of the house in British Parliament which is similar to Lok Sabha in India. Okay. House of Commons and House of Lords. These are 2 houses in British Parliament. Okay, this is the right answer. The next is the leader of Bardoli satyagraha. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Mahatma Gandhi, Mithal Bhai Patel, Mahadev Desai. Bardoli satyagraha. Main leader was actually और भी लोग सत्य थे, but the main prominent personality is Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. ठीक है, A is the right answer to this question. अच्छा बता सकते हो after independence Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel had which post? Just after independence, he had got which ministry? Iron Man of India. Which ministry he had got? Yes, very good. Home Minister. Yes, Mahendra, you're right. Home Minister. And actually, the main is actually after Prime Minister, the most important ministry is Home Minister, where you are supposed to control the entire internal administration. Get back states also. I mean, but the ministry was Home Ministry. Plus, he was Deputy Prime Minister of India also. Okay. But Deputy Prime Minister is not as such recognized in the Constitution. But generally, you can say Deputy Prime Minister is there. And Home Minister, he was actually. So, A is the right answer to this question. And Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Bardoli Satyagraha, I mean, he became very famous. The next is which of the following began with Dandi March? ये तो सबको बताना है. इस पर previous question है. CLAT में अभी I think 1 or 2 years back it was asked. Either in 24 or in 2025 it was asked. Dandi March. I've made a separate class. Go to the playlist. Go to the Modern Indian History playlist. The video starts from Vijayanagar Empire. Scroll down. You will find a civil disobedience movement. Yes. Dandi March. Yes, he is the right answer. Salt March भी कहते हैं, Dandi March भी कहते हैं. Which year? Can anyone tell me which year? And Dandi March happened from where to where? आप बता दोगे मैं बहुत खुश हो जाऊंगा. Dandi March mentioned था CLAT में previous year question के. Good. 1930 है ना? March to April है ना? 1930. Civil disobedience movement है ना? 24th March से I think 6th April as far as I could remember है ना? 1930. कहाँ से कहाँ तक मार्च हुआ था? साबरमती आश्रम to Dandi. Great, Mahendra. Very good. Harsh Sharma. मतलब I'm very happy. Yes, Akshat, very good. I'm very happy that you all are reading like whatever I'm teaching it, you are digesting it. Digesting it means you are able to remember. That's very important. Because पढ़ तो सब लेता नहीं फिर भूल जाता है कि हाँ सर कुछ था पढ़ा हुआ था. साबरमती आश्रम to Dandi है ना? When he went and took the salt in his hand and said I am breaking the salt law as a mark of he actually signaled British by taking the salt in his hand कि देखो मैं कानून तोड़ रहा हूँ because why have you put taxes on this है ना? C is the right answer. So देखो 24 मार्च मैंने बोल दिया 12 मार्च sorry 12th March to 6th April 1930 है ना? That was Sabarmati to Dandi है ना? With almost of his 78 followers है ना? Dandi को नवसारी भी कहते हैं. ठीक है. 24-day march था. 24-day march of 240 miles, which is I think somewhere around 370 kilometers, 380 kilometers है ना? 240 miles, 387 kilometers to be exact. Okay. Yes. तो आपको इसलिए याद आता है 24 day and 240 miles is very easy to remember. एक 0 पे ऐड कर देना है. And I hope you are aware 1 mile is equal to 1.7 kilometer. ये अगर आपको पता होगा. If you know physics or maths, you should be knowing this much of level of basic thing. है ना? ये उनकी फोटो है ना? So ये तो पता होगा है ना? यहाँ पे साबरमती आश्रम है अहमदाबाद के पास, और ऐसे वॉक करते करते यहाँ पे सामने डांडी, ठीक है। तो आप इमेजिन कर सकते हो उस जमाने में लोग 24 डेज में 240 माइल्स चल लेती है ना, 387 किलोमीटर। Today's generation, it is difficult to believe, है ना, because even the young generation of today may not be able to travel this much, because nowadays we are living in the era of motorcycle, car, automobiles. Let's move on to the next one. Yes, ये बताओ, अभी मैंने कुछ तो इसमें से कुछ तो मैंने अभी डिस्कस भी करा दिया, एक दो, तो you can answer it. Match the following है, मैच कराना आपको। देखो चिटागोंग आर्मरी रेड, अभी मैंने बताया चिटागोंग सूर्या सेन 4 का बी कहाँ है, एक ही जगह है, सो इट्स वेरी इजी नाउ। अभी मैंने डिस्कस करा है, सी इज द राइट आंसर, यस। तो अभी आई जस्ट डिस्कस 1930 सूर्या सेन चिटागोंग आर्मरी रेड, यस। बाकी भी पता होना चाहिए, ठीक है। तो 1 का सी है ना, कानपुर का स्प्रेसी केस एमएन रॉय, मुजफ्फरपुर का स्प्रेसी केस है ना, राम प्रसाद बिस्मिल, एंड काकोरी इज वेरी वेरी फेमस एक्चुअली, है ना, सॉरी उल्टा बता दिया क्या, 3 का ए, राम प्रसाद बिस्मिल इस काकोरी केस है ना, राम प्रसाद बिस्मिल अशफाकुल्ला खान यहाँ थे, ठीक है। और चिटागोंग आर्मरी रेड मैंने बता दिया। 1 का जो सी है एमएन रॉय, और मुजफ्फरपुर का स्प्रेसी केस खुदीराम बोस, 2 का डी, ठीक है। सो मुजफ्फरपुर का स्प्रेसी केस में देयर वाज एन अटेम्प्ट टू किल अ डिस्ट्रिक्ट जज, बट फॉर्चुनेटली ही सर्वाइव्ड, आई मीन फॉर हिम इट इज फॉर्चुनेट, ठीक है। काकोरी का स्प्रेसी केस इज वेरी फेमस 1925। इसमें क्या था, काकोरी इज एक्चुअली प्लेस वेरी नियर टू लखनऊ, देयर इज अ रेलवे स्टेशन, ठीक है। दोस हु नो, दोस हु लिव इन लखनऊ दे मस्ट बी अवेयर ऑफ दिस। लखनऊ के आसपास कोई रेलवे स्टेशन है, सो देयर वाज एन अटेम्प्ट टू लूट द ब्रिटिश ट्रेन जा रही थी, मतलब देयर वाज ब्रिटिश मिलिट्री वेपन्स वर गोइंग इनसाइड दैट, ठीक है। सो द लूटेड, सो पीपल आर राम प्रसाद बिस्मिल, अशफाकुल्ला खान, these two are very famous personalities, है ना, related with काकोरी conspiracy case, ठीक है। तो ये भी पता होना चाहिए, ठीक है। हाँ, looted British territory, right, महेंद्र, right, very good. कानपुर बोल्शेविक केस 1924 है ना, ऐसे डांगे एमएन रॉय, यहाँ पे ये क्वेश्चन, मुजफ्फर अहमद, नालिनी गुप्ता, शौकत उस्मानी, एंड सिंगर वेलू चेतियार, गुलाम हुसैन, बहुत सारे लोग थे, है ना। So to deprive the king emperor of his sovereignty of British India by complete separation of India from Britain by violent revolution, that's this. And Muzaffarpur case 1908 बहुत famous है, Praful Chaki and Khudiram Bose tried to attempt to kill the district judge, which chief presidency magistrate was a judge actually, Douglas Kingsford of Calcutta, but he actually survived because there was some other person in the carriage. तो उस समय कार नहीं होती थी, पालकी टाइप की कैरेज होता था ना, उसी में जाते लोगों ने समझा कि ये जज साहब है, अटैक हुआ, बट देयर वर सम अदर वुमेन, not the judge. हाँ, मैंने बताया ना, Bolshevik, I'll tell you. 1917 Russian Revolution. This I have discussed many times, but again, since you are asking, I'll tell you. Russian Revolution came. So you'll get to know that 1920s, and I've told you many times, a lot of Indians were very much inspired by communism and socialism. देखो 1920s, here देख लो. And that is why even Bhagat Singh was very much inspired. He renamed his Hindustan Republican Army as Hindustan Socialist Republican Army. Yes. Similarly, इस सारी लड़की cutting across religion, है ना, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, even like Sikh, all were very much inspired by Russian Revolution or Communist Revolution. तो उस जमाने जो young थे ना, they were very much inspired by Bolshevik Revolution. ठीक है, तो socialism, even Jawaharlal Nehru was very much inspired, even JP Narayanan, है ना, they all were actually young boys, है ना. Even Congress Socialist Party was also established, I think 1934, if I'm not wrong, within the Congress. Established by JP Narayanan and Acharya Narayan Dev and many other young leaders. तो जो यूथ थे ना वो बहुत इंस्पायर्ड थे, ठीक है, इसलिए ये सब नाम लिखते थे, they were inspired by that, है ना. काकोरी ट्रेन में भी अगर आप देखोगे, it was brought by राम प्रसाद बिस्मिल, अशफाकुल्ला खान, again they were inspired by Hindustan Socialist Republican Army, ठीक है ना, socialist. So they were also very much inspired by the Russian Revolution of 1917. इसीलिए आप देखोगे 1920s के आसपास बहुत सारे रेवोल्यूशनरी एक्टिविटीज हुआ इंडिया में, ये देख सकते हो. ये देखो 1924, अगेन 1925 में क्या हुआ, काकोरी केस, है ना, ये मैंने बता दिया. 1930 में चिटागोंग आर्मरी रेड बाय सूर्या सेन, ऑल वर वेरी मच इंस्पायर्ड. तो 1920s के बाद we have seen specifically the young leaders very much inspired by Russian revolutionaries. Okay, so that's what तो यहाँ लिखा भी है, they were communist, है ना. So इसीलिए भगत सिंह जी ने बुक भी लिखा थे ना, Why I am an atheist. I hope you must have heard it. So इनकी बुक है Why I am an atheist. Because जो basic जो होते हैं communism का जो एक idea होता है, there are a lot of things in communism, and one of the thing is they believe like they are actually atheists, do not believe in God, है ना. That is what this is a book actually by Bhagat Singh. Okay. Okay, so we are ending this class here. Please subscribe to the channel, press the like button. Thank you everyone. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.